All right, Shalom, Shalom. And we'd like to start off by giving our honor and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Sharon Kakodash, that be honest to our apostles, great minister who rule well. Peace and blessings to the house of David the elect. I'm Zahabi to my left. Hey, today we're going to go into a live stream entitled "There's No Ceilings with Our Nation." All right, one of the biggest misconceptions that Esau has pushed with this narrative is that it all started with slavery. In the creation of so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans came with us acculturating into your way of living. So from slavery to basically being a so-called African American, and that's it. Or a Latino Hispanic American, that's it. All right, but no, we have a heritage and a history that goes back at this point 3,000 years.
Legacy.
A legacy. And ultimately, what, 4,500 years if you go into the time of Adam? I can have my numbers off, but we have a legacy that goes back thousands of years. And once you understand that, you will understand why there's drugs in the Israelite neighborhood. You will understand why there was a welfare system, abortion clinic, killing systems where you could, a serpent system where you could covertly murder Israelite babies.
Corner store full of poison.
Corner stores full of poison, selling Newports, liver cheese and sauce, pig feet. And these are Muslims selling that to you in a lot of cases. They don't eat that.
And then they break it down to if you can't afford a pack of cigarettes, you can get a single.
You can get a single, man. Yeah. So Esau has a system, all right, that keeps you out of your greatness.
Yep. You want me to get that for you? Look, you can get some.
I got that in Ezra's. Ezra's 4.
I'll get that in the scripture, in the regular Bible.
Oh, the regular Ezra's?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, come. So, you know, Esau has a system starting with Amalek, because that's really our arch enemy. That's the one that's really putting in work. All right. He's the one that has a system set up to where to keep Jake in that Frankenstein mode, that dry bone mode. And I have reason to believe that the book Frankenstein, all right, was written about you.
Yep.
You know?
Hey, because like you said, Esau starts the origin, of our people really as slavery. Because before that it's real cloudy. Jake not sure of anything else before that, and he thinks like he goes from slavery, then he gives you a LeBron and Jay-Z and Mayweather as this is your ceiling. This is how far you came from picking cotton, to now you got private jets and all these different things, but it's within another man's kingdom. You see. And it's just it's just a modern way of picking cotton, man.
A modern way of picking cotton. As a matter of fact, let's just get a scripture real quick.
Come, bro.
All right. Get that scripture about living in the poor man's house.
Yep.
You will know what it is. The fact is it?
I'm trying to find on the phone.
Okay.
Yep. Hey, because at the end of the day, the greatness that we come from, it far surpasses being a rich entertainer, in another man's kingdom. And that's what Jake boasts in, being a rich, entertainer in another man's kingdom. 29, 22, bro.
Okay, at the water.
I get it, I read.
Okay, come.
This is Sirach 29 and 22. It said, better is the life of a poor man in a mean cottage than delicate fare in another man's house.
See, what the brother just explained, Jake having private jets and being multi-million-dollar basketball players, that's still success within the confines of another man's kingdom. So you're still in another man's house, so to speak.
Yep.
A metaphor for that was the movie Get Out.
Yep.
You were in a sunken place in someone else's house.
Yep.
All right? But it was better for us to be in a sovereign state independently and not have much than to be in Esau's house, man.
Yep. You can run your household like you want.
Yep.
Yep. When you have some type of sovereignty. Jake don't understand sovereignty in this time because the legacy of Black culture doesn't link back to sovereignty. The biggest form of sovereignty that Jake looks at, like we were talking about, Tulsa, Oklahoma, but there was still a thriving community within another man's empire.
Yep.
Esau was taking over the globe while you was boasting about a 33 block, a radius of so-called Black-owned businesses, man.
Yeah, circulating Esau's money.
Yeah.
Which
it showed Jake's greatness, but see, that's nowhere near, all right, the depth of the greatness that we have, and that's nowhere near the measure of greatness that we have as a nation, beginning with the Israelite men, all right. But we're going to go into account. Now, this is during the time, the Persian Empire, when we was given a decree to be able to go back and build, the temple. And what happened was you had these heathens, they wanted to build with us and they got rejected. And then you had other heathens that were looking like, they was looking at the king like, what the hell are you doing? Letting these people build, and he's going to go into the account of why, Go ahead.
All right, the book of Ezra in the Bible, Ezra 4:10, 4 and 11. This is the copy of the letter that they sent unto him, even unto Artaxerxes, the king, thy servants, the men on this side, the river, and at such a time. Be it known unto the king that the Jews which came up from thee to us are come unto Jerusalem, building the rebellious in the bad city, and have set up the walls thereof and joined the foundations.
Yeah, so you had, our people, the men, all right, beginning with the priests, all right, you had Ezra, you had Zerubbabel, you had Joshua, all right, and they were the priests and the governor, of the building of this second temple, So as they seeing this thing built, they seeing Jake in unity, what's the first thing they start doing? Demonizing, man. And that's what you see in this culture today, is when you see any type of unity amongst Jake, all right, immediately there's a demonization. Look at you remember Jax, the end of the Mortal Kombat, like Jax. It was a utopia of Jake where everybody was happy. You see,
and he was the king basically.
And they lost it. Wakanda. And these are just damn movies and comic books.
A fucking fantasy.
And Esau lost it because they know it's in their spirit. They know the power that come with the Israelite men being in unity, man. Especially in unity under Yahweh Bashim. They at least know the power of us being in unity under Yahweh Bashim al-Shah. Joe Sixpack just fears being in unity, on any type of level. But see, they at least know that we're coming into unity under Yahweh Bashim al-Shah, and that's why you see they're pushing this New World Order agenda, man, to try to put a clamp on it. Go ahead.
Building the rebellious and the bad city, and have set up the walls thereof and joined the foundations. Verse 13.
Go ahead.
Be it known now unto the king that if this city be builded and the walls set up again, then will they not pay toll, tribute, and custom, and so thou shalt endamage the revenue of the kings.
So they knew, all right, that as a people, because they knew the history of David, they knew the history of Solomon, they knew Joshua, all right. Hey, Joshua conquered 31 kings on the way to the land of Canaan, which became the land of Israel. Joshua was going crazy on these heathens, man. With the aid of the chariots, Yahushua, Joshua was on a rampage, man. That's why you had that Moabite king trying to put curses on Israel. When the Moabite king, when he looked out and seen Israel encamped in the open, he was like, he had hired Balaam to do what, man? To put curses on them. Like, you gotta curse these people. They were trying to use witchcraft to stop the progression of Israel. Just like you were making the reference to Frankenstein. Go ahead.
Verse 14. Now because we have maintenance from the king's palace, and it was not meet for us to see the king's dishonor, therefore have we sent and certified the king.
Go ahead.
That search may be made in the book of the records of thy fathers, so shalt thou find in the book of the records, and know that this city is a rebellious city, and hurtful unto kings and provinces, and that they have moved sedition within the same of old time. For which cause was this city destroyed?
So they going into they said, let it be known in the records, like this city, these people, when they come together, they can wreak havoc, man. And what record is he talking about? Bob Bashar, go to 1 Chronicles 18. Let's see the records that he was talking about, because like the elder Ariella made the video about how scribes was very popular in the ancient world. Especially if you was a king, you would have a scribe to record what was going on. Like, scribes are very important. These accounts are very important. So let's go into the scribe of 1 Chronicles, which is a scribe of kings, dealing with David. Go ahead.
All right, 1 Chronicles 18, we start at verse 1. All right, now after this, it came to pass that David smote the Philistines.
He smote the Philistines, all right, which is a whole nation. All right, go ahead.
and subdued them.
Go ahead.
And took Gath and her towns out of the hand of the Philistines.
Yep, conquering lands, conquering nations, conquering countries. Go ahead.
And he smote Moab, and the Moabites became David's servants.
Hold on, he smote Moab, then the Moabites became his servants. You see, go ahead.
And brought gifts.
They was in servitude.
Mm-hmm.
See, Jake, like you say, Jake is think that he's something because he has $100 million,
mm-hmm.
a few $100 million, $1 billion. You see, but you don't have no resources. You don't have powers. You don't have nations that's in servitude to you.
Mm-hmm.
It said the Moabites became David's servitude, meaning David's servants, man. That's a whole nation of people, man.
Bowing their head.
Yeah.
He was blessed. David
bringing
was blessed.
Gifts to him. David didn't have to go work out 4 hours and travel around the world playing the damn game. No, man. David was blessed. Go ahead.
All right. And verse 3. And David smote Hadarezer, king of Zabah and Hamath, unto Hamath, as he went to establish his dominion by the river Euphrates.
So he went and smote another king and established some more dominion. All right. So you see how the kingdom steadily expanding, man. And David was in his David was in his prime. Now remember, David started as a shepherd, as a shepherd boy. This is one lifetime. And this is what he's doing. David had no army. You see? He didn't have no he didn't have no wealth, But by the time he was an adult man, he's conquering nations, man. Showing you that the potential that the Israelite man has, man. You see? Go ahead.
Verse 4. 1 Chronicles 18, verse 4. And David took from him 1,000 chariots and 7,000 horsemen and 20,000 footmen. David also hewed all the chariot horses, but reserved of them 100 chariots.
Go ahead.
And when the Syrians of Damascus came to help Hadarezer, king of Zobah, David slew of the Syrians 22,000 men.
Yep.
Then David put garrisons David put garrisons in Syria, Damascus, and the Syrians became David's servants and brought gifts.
Wait a minute. You see the pattern, man?
Yep.
David is conquering nations, man. Now, how many rappers, all these rap albums, how many rappers talk about King David, man?
Right. This is a rap song right here.
How many rappers talk about this, man? They talk about buying a lamb and, adultery and, a chain. You see? Well, how many rappers have this type of mind frame? Athletes have this type of mind frame. You see? We tapped into something way better. That's why Yahweh Shai told the Pharisees, I'm from above, man. You from beneath.
This goes into Revelation 8:11, where the nations rejoice.
Yep.
We were put into captivity, man, because we gave hell on them. The apostles always speak on that. All right, I'm going to continue on.
You got it, bro.
1 Chronicles 18:6. Then David put garrisons in Syria, Damascus, and the Syrians became David's servants and brought gifts. Thus Yahweh preserved David whithersoever he went.
Yep. So you see that when the Israelite man is in tune with his power, there is no ceiling. There is no ceiling, man. All right. They were kicking ass, taking names, and then what? They were bringing gifts, man. And David, their wealth spread throughout the nation. It wasn't just David that was on. Like today, you just have one man that's on. He'd talk about himself. No, the whole nation was on because eventually his son, all right, through Solomon, silver was as stones in Israel, showing that basically the Israelite men was basically millionaires, man. That was average. That was, that was nothing. So you go back to and see the nations knew this. Like if you a king, you know this information. Like this ain't nothing you sleep on.
Yeah.
You know this information. Go ahead.
All right, and we're back in Esdras 4. Let me see. I started 15.
Yep.
Esdras 4:15. That search. I started 14. Now because we have maintenance from the king's palace, and it was not meet for us to see the king's dishonor. Therefore have we sent and certified the king, that search may be made in the book of the records of thy fathers. So shalt thou find the book of the records, and know that this city is a rebellious city, and hurtful unto kings and provinces. and that they have moved sedition with the same old time, for which cause was this city destroyed. We certify the king that if this city be builded again, the walls thereof set up, by this means thou shalt have no portion on this side of the river.
Why is he saying that? Because he know our people is a nation of conquerors, man.
Mm-hmm.
You see, everybody.
No, finish what you saying.
I said everybody like to talk about Alexander the Greek. Everybody talk about Julius Caesar and Nebuchadnezzar, but what's that? They don't talk about Joshua. You know, they don't talk about King David. You see, why they don't talk about now? They have a way better conquering story than all these. Because see, there was over hundreds of years of time. It took hundreds of years to make the Roman Empire because it started off as the Kingdom of Rome, then it started off as the Republic of Rome. You know, then it became the Roman Empire. There was hundreds of years to build up to that. You got it, bro.
That's why in King Solomon's palace, it was 12 lions carved per tribe. It was a lion to represent each tribe, because our nation is like a lion on the planet Earth. When we dominate and conquer other nations, that was part of the reason. Like I said, going back to Revelation 11, like how what's that company before you watch a movie? They got the lion's head inside the Lionsgate. But then you saw the behind the scenes, they had the lion like tied up. And he was made for amusement. That's Israel, man. You know?
I want to get this real quick.
Come on. You know?
I want to get this as you said that it says this is how big one lion's territory. It said lions' territories are quite large, 15 square miles on the low end, ranging up to nearly 400, and are passed down.
It's passed down, like an air. Wow, hey, because that's when you get it.
Come on, man.
Yeah, because we had the stakes and we passed down on that, man. Those airs, man. Hey, but that's why the elder was it Amawan? He hit that video, hit the picture of Jake with the afro and the beard. Yep. And he was saying like the Most High had a lion in mind when he was crafting Israel. When he was designing the Israelite man, he had a lion in mind. That's why we had the big afro and the beard and it connected. That's your man. That's why Jake had the broad nose. Jake got broad lips. That's why he got a loud voice. You know, when the Most High, when the description of Yahweh Shah was being described, there was like a lion.
Voice of thunder.
Voice of thunder. Yeah, Yahweh Shah like the voice of many waters. Have you ever gone to a zoo and heard a lion roar? Like, damn.
And then when the lion roar, you know, they say it can be heard for miles. You know, everybody stop and try to see how close he is. Like the other animal try to see how close it is. You know, I see.
Oh, Rebecca, go ahead.
And it was a question asked. I won't say it was on Geography or National Geographics, or Animal Planet 1. But they was asking. They were like, what makes the lion the king of the jungle? Because it's not the biggest. It's not the biggest animal. It's not the strongest. Not the fastest. And then that I guess he was a zoologist. He was like, well, it's his attitude, his mindset, because he looks at everything else as a prey. You know.
Hey, but you took what I was just about to say. That's the spirit. Hey, it's an entitlement issue. Everything belongs to, not an issue, but that's the entitlement that it's a ruling class mentality. Everything belongs to me. And I was with a brother at a tea store, and he said this. He was like, I know it sounds crazy, but I feel like everybody belongs to me. You gotta guess which brother that said it. I'm always surrounded, brother. But it's like I feel like everybody belongs to me. That brother was Judah, you know. You know. But yeah, you got brother, whatever.
You go back to that.
Ezra.
Okay. And that's why so much emphasis on suppressing the Israelite man. You know. Go ahead.
All right, Ezra 4:16. We certify the king that if this city be built up again, and the walls thereof set up, by this means thou shalt have no portion on this side of the river.
Your kingdom through.
This, it's a lot. Then said the king and answered unto Rehum the chancellor, and to Shimshai the scribe, and to the rest of their companions that dwell in Samaria, and unto the rest beyond the river, peace in such a time. letter which ye sent unto us have been plainly read before me. And I commanded, and search have been made, and it is found that this city of old time have made insurrection against the kings, and the rebellion and sedition have been made therein. There have been mighty kings over Jerusalem.
There have been mighty kings over Jerusalem.
Mighty kings.
Mighty kings, man. They know this. They know this to this day. The elites know this to this day, man. You see? That's why it's always some type of attack on Jake. The Israelite man, you know, because the whole nation, the women suffer too, but it's an emphasis on the Israelite man because we're the connection to their power source. You see? So that's where their main thing is, cutting off their connection to their power source. You know? And that's all these nations know this. They are threatened just by our presence, man. These people are threatened, man.
Yeah, because like something the elder said years ago, you know, you walk in the elevator, people get scared. It's like they're supposed to get scared.
Yep.
When a lion goes to get something to drink, the little gazelles run away.
Yep.
You know?
Go ahead.
All right. It says, verse 17, then said the king and answer unto Rahum the chancellor, and to Shemshai the scribe, and to the rest of their companions that dwell in Samaria, and unto the rest beyond the river, peace in such a time. The letter which ye sent unto us have been plainly read before me, and I commanded, and search have been made, and it is found that this city of old have made insurrection against kings, and that rebellion and sedition have been made therein. There have been mighty kings over Jerusalem, which have ruled over all countries beyond the river, and toll, tribute, and customs was paid unto them.
Yeah, and we just read it. You know, King David, he conquered, you know, Moabites, they became his servants and brought gifts. He conquered the Syrians, they became his servants and brought gifts, man.
And that's how you know with slaves, because we know tribute means taxes, but you have tolls even to this day. Like in the bigger city, to get to the other city, you got to pay a toll fee, you know, or pay the part. That's the least taxing you because you're a servant. All right. Verse 21, give ye now commandment to cause these men to cease, and that this city be not builded until another commandment shall be given from me.
Yeah, so they are threatened by Jake, man, by the Israelite man. They threatened by anything that we try to build. You know, and that's why they did Tulsa, Oklahoma like that. They was Esau was threatened. They are naturally threatened, you know, to see us thriving, man. But see, they can't stop this though. You know, because this is builded by the Spirit, you know, of Yahweh Shem Shai. You know, this is not about economy. This is not about, you know, businesses or, you know, no. This is about taking this man down and setting up a righteous kingdom in the earth, man. You know, and that's why power is going to be given, you know, to these elect men in the times come. A standard going to be lifted to fulfill, all right, the promise of us coming back into power, man. And there's going to be nothing that can be, there's nothing that can hinder that, man. And this is why Esau Edom is going so hard in his New World Order agenda, because this is what he fears the most, the Israelite man coming into power, man. You know? Even go back, get Exodus 1 and 11, and then we get some prophecies about us coming back in power.
Where it come?
This happened during the time of Egyptians. You know, we get this account. Exodus, start thinking about 1 and 11.
Exodus 1 and 11. All right. I'll start at 10.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Hey, you know what? I started at 8, bro.
Yeah, I was just.
Exodus 1 and 8. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we.
Are more than mightier than we. You see how their words constantly thrown around?
More and mightier.
It's not just, you know, in stature, but you can see someone who's a good thinker, who's someone who's smart, who's intelligent, you know. What's their word? You know, when ingenuitive. You know, they seen all these things, man. You see? Go ahead.
All right. And he says, and he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them out of the land.
Yeah, go ahead.
Therefore, verse 11, therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens, and they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses.
Yeah, and why you think the Israelite man has all these back-breaking jobs today?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you look at the tribe, look at Issachar, you know, even the Southern Kingdom, they have all these low-paying, back-breaking jobs today, man. It's the same method. Keep them occupied with work, pay them just enough to barely get by where they're always scrambling, you know, trying to make it. Because as an empire, you know, you need a portion of your nation to be able to do the thinking, you know. But if you got everybody bowled up, can't nobody do no thinking. You can't, you know. That's why the Levites didn't work even when they was in the priesthood, because they had, you know, to be freed up to do the service of the Most High. You know, so just like they kept us occupied with work being in the Egyptian kingdom, all right, in the ancient Egypt kingdom, they doing the same thing in New Egypt.
And the proof that's us in the Josephus, it tells you that the Hebrews built the pyramids.
Yep.
Then what are these treasure cities?
Yep, the pyramid.
Yep.
That's where they will hold their gold, and you know, it was being buried with their gold and shit. And then America is the most worked city on earth. Like Americans work more hours than anyone else on earth, man. And you know the majority of those labor hours is who, man? Jake. You know, go ahead.
All right, and it says, verse 12, Exodus 1 and 12. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew, and they were grieved because of the sons of Israel.
Yep.
And the Egyptians made the sons of Israel to serve with rigor. They made their lives bitter with hard bondage, in mortar and in brick, and in all manner of service in the field. All their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor.
Go ahead.
So like verse 15. And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of the one was Siphrah, and the name of the other was Puah. He said, when ye do the office of the midwives of the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then you should kill him, but if it be a daughter, then she shall live.
Showing to what the threat was from who?
The Israelite
the
men.
Israelite men.
Huh?
You see? And this really was the beginning of abortion, man. You know, when you look at it, you see? But it was always an agenda from these heathen nations to suppress the Israelite men, because they know, you know, us and our strength, they through. And our strength is in Yahweh Shem Shai. You know? So we can get that in Isaiah 60, and, you know, just to show that we finna come back into their power, man. And there ain't gonna be nothing that these heathens can do. All right, you got it, bro.
Isaiah 60 and 1.
10.
Isaiah 60 and 10. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I met. For in my favor have I had mercy on thee.
Yeah, so that's what we coming into. This is a future prophecy. Now we're finna come back into their stead and do what David was doing, all right, back in his prime, man. Taking down nations, man, taking down kings and making them servants, man. This is what we coming into, man. All right, and it's gonna be an eternal kingdom. We're gonna have those new bodies. When we come down off them chariots, we coming down to conquer, man. You see, Yahweh Shai gonna bust this place up and deliver us. And when we come off, when New Jerusalem come down, we coming down putting nations in captivity, man. You know?
We coming to do our job. It's in our nature.
Yeah.
That's the conquer.
Because the nation ain't going to be, when we come down, the nation ain't going to have chains on, you know, waiting on us to come down. No, man, we want to have to round these nations up, man. You know? Put their in servitude, man. Go ahead.
All right. It says, verse 11, therefore thy gate shall be open continually, there shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles.
Which is their resources.
Hey, going back to Chronicles,
yeah,
they gave gifts.
They gave gifts.
Yep.
All right, go ahead.
And that their kings may be brought.
Yep.
For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted.
Yeah, it's going to be their rulership with their iron fist. All right, with their rod of iron. You know, as it says in Revelations and in Psalms, man. Go ahead.
All right, verse 13. The glory of Lebanon shall come unto thee, the fir tree, the pine tree, and the box together, to beautify the place of my sanctuary, and I will make the place of my feet glorious.
And that's the earth, because the earth is the Lord's footstool, and it's gonna be made glorious. And see, what you gotta understand, when we come into power, all right, the Yahweh Shai is gonna allot each brother portions of the earth, man. You know, and those portions of, see, one thing about owning parts of the earth, everything that section of the earth, that portion of the earth produces is yours. You see, but see, it's a process that things have to go to make it usable. You see, trees have to be cut, you know, and logged, you know, then it can be usable, man. Stones have to be, you know, you know,
extracted,
you know, mined. You see, it's gonna be a lot of work for these nations to do, man. But this is what we're coming back into, man. You see, that's why I say our nation has no ceiling, man. We just gonna continue to grow and grow into something great. You see, under Yahweh Shai, we just gonna become greater and greater and greater, man.
Expanding.
Yeah, you know, and this is why we're putting up. This is why we dead to this world. If you know this coming, what here can excite you, man? You know,
some more Jordans.
Yeah, the retro, the 13s, they back again. The blue and yellow kind. Yeah. You know, niggas in a tent at the mall. You know, old pair of shoes, man, through. You see? But you get Isaiah 9:6 and we can read through 7 again.
Okay, come.
Yep.
Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given. And the government shall be upon his shoulder. And his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty Power, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace.
And that's Yahweh Shai. Go ahead.
Of the increase of his government and peace, there should be no end.
There should be no end. But now you got Jake bucking up against immortality. You know, it said that of his government and his peace, there shall be no end. Government is a rulership. All right? If it's going to be no end, it means it's ongoing. Go ahead.
Of the increase of his government and peace, there should be no end upon the throne of David and upon his kingdom to order it.
The throne of who?
David.
And what was David doing, man? Come on, man.
And then Yahweh Shai is called the Lion of the tribe of Judah.
Come on, man.
That's our nature. That's how to say a spirit animal. That's our spirit animal, man.
Go ahead.
All right, and upon his kingdom to order it and to establish it with judgment and with justice from henceforth even forever. The zeal of Yahweh of hosts will perform this.
So the zeal of Yahweh by Shem Shai will perform this. And this is why the Lord is gathering us and putting us in order, man. Now we begin to think like rulers, man. You know, there's nothing Esau can give us, man. You know, to make us turn away from this, man. We know we much more than just an entertainer in another man's kingdom, man.
Goddamn lion inside that fucking
you know, jumping through a circle.
Man.
You see, no, our legacy is way beyond that, man. And now we're tapped back in, man. You see, we're attached back to their legacy, man, through what? The house of David being raised up, man. So, the nation of Israel has no ceiling, man. And it's really going to be shown when Yahweh Shai comes back, man.
And going back to the book, the illustrations of the ways of the East, the author pretty much broke down that the height of our civilization is our connection with Yahweh Shai. So we were so advanced during the time of Adam because those are the closest we were to Yahweh Shai. Going back to King David and King Solomon, that was the closest that we were to Yahweh Shai. And that led to us being on top. But the disobedient led us to being what? Servants. You see that contrast? Obedience equals ruling over them. Disobedience means serving under them. That's all I want to say.
And these heathens know that, man. And that's the formula that they've been using, you know, to keep us in this mind and keep us in a certain mindset of being content, all right, with servitude, you know, and not having the mindset of rulership. But now that mindset, that's why the scriptures say, if we be in Yahweh Shai, everything is new. We look at everything completely different now, man. And that's why, brothers, that's why we be so vexed, because we understand how low we are. See, you like Jake be so happy, and, you know, all these different things, because they think they really, like you say, they they narrative begins with the cotton fields to where they at now.
Yep.
You know, now they got an Audi. You see, so they think that they done went way up from the ancestors.
Yeah.
No, man, we fallen tremendously, man.
Yep.
You know, but see, we coming back, and that's what balances out with joy, understanding we coming back, man.
Ain't no stopping us now. Yep.
We don't move, man.
Yep.
Yep. There you go, bro.
And so with that, we hope you brothers and sisters were edified. Once again, we want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh by Shemi, Hawashai by Shura Kakadash, the honor to our apostles, great millstone, rule well. Peace and blessings to the house of everything elect. Abba, Abba.
Bob.
Call me Shalom.
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 Shalom.